Hello, hello, can you hear me?
Hello students, good evening to all of you. So welcome to the session on preparation and strategy for quantitative aptitude and DI. We call this as numerical ability for clerk exams. So quantitative aptitude and DI for RRB exams. So we'll be focusing on regional rural banks, office assistant, regional rural banks, officer scale 1. So we will start in couple of minutes. If people are still joining, so let them join. Then we'll take it forward, students. So we'll be discussing about this particular strategy. Okay. Arun is saying good evening. Good evening, Arun. We'll start in couple of minutes. So may not be possible to do your questions simultaneously. So whenever I get some time, I'll take a break and I'll see whatever questions are there. I'll take up those questions. So this session will be focusing on basically the preparation part. So if you can see, if last 3 years regional rural bank exams paper pattern, what are the question types that appeared? So what is important for prelim exam? What is important for main exam? And how should one prepare for this particularly quantitative aptitude section and numerical ability section? So these things we'll be discussing. I'll also take up few questions, maybe quant preparation strategy once we have done last month. Maybe few questions in that. Plus, I have added 1 or 2 more questions which are based on main exam level. So you'll clearly see how individual questions differentiate what maybe in your prelim exam or main exam. So how these individual questions are, we'll also look at those particular things, right? So one more good evening, Venkateshan, Meenakshi Venkateshan, good evening, right? So shall we move forward, students? Shall we discuss? Right. Let us look at highlights of this session. We will discuss about weightage of RRB, officer scale 1 and office assistant. We'll discuss about various question types, generally part of this prelim exam, main exam, PO, clerk, what is the basic difference. Preparation tips and strategies. So what should one do as a part of their preparation? What are the basic things that are required you should learn for your quant preparation? And are there any new question types? How last 3 years, how the question types emerged? Is there anything new which you need to focus upon? Those things also we will focus here. As all of you know, the prelim exam, it is 40 questions, 40 marks, no section-wise time limit. Prelim exam, as all of you know, it's only quant as well as your reasoning. For both officer scale 1 and office assistants, we have 40 questions. In main exam also, we have 40 questions, but main exam is 50 marks. 40 questions, marks are 50. No section-wise time limit in your main exam also. Let us look at topic-wise breakup. Just observe these students. You'll come to know how last 3 years, how this RRB exam was, right? So just look at this. Quadratic comparisons. Quadratic comparisons. Quadratic comparisons. Here, generally quadratic comparisons asked in prelim exam only. If you can observe here, prelim. You can observe your prelim. Quadratic comparisons were once a part of your main exam. There were 5 questions in 2018. 2019, there were no quadratic comparison questions. 2017 also, there were no quadratic comparison questions. Right? So quadratic comparison generally important for your preliminary exam. Now, if you can see here, why is that I have written 0 to 6 here? Because prelim exam is conducted on different days, maybe Saturday, Sunday, 3 different weekends. Each day there will be 4 slots. So maybe in one of the slots there may not be questions on quadratic comparison. Instead of that, there may be some other topic. So I'm giving 0 to 6, but almost out of, let us say, 12 slots or 8 slots, you will have complete what you call almost 80-90% of the slots you can find questions on quadratic comparisons. Then simplification approximation. These are your calculation questions, right? So you know this speed maths type of questions, additions, divisions, multiplications. You have to find out the answer. So simplifications approximations generally asked in prelim exam 0 to 6, 0 to 5, and 5. not asked in your main exam. I'm discussing this officer scale one. Office assistants will discuss separately, right? So simplification approximation, again, this is your prelim exam model. This is also your prelim exam model. Maybe once it was asked in your main exam. Individual quant questions. What do you mean by individual quant questions? Like equations, ratio, time and work, time and distance, geometry mensuration, probability, all put together. Minimum 10 to maximum 14 questions in 2019 prelim exam. Main exam 14 questions. Again 2018 minimum 10 to maximum 15. Main exam 10 questions. Prelim exam 2017 10 questions. Main exam 10 questions. Now if you can see 2017 to 2019, number of questions in prelim as well as main exam have increased by 5 or 4, right? You can see 10 to 14 compared to 10 and 10. So individual quant questions, these are important for both your prelim exam as well as your main examination. Then data interpretation, that is table, pie chart, line graph, bar graph, case slates. Based on that we will have questions. And data interpretation, CS students, prelim 10 minimum to maximum 17, main exam 22. 2018 15, main exam 20. Prelim 2017 15, main exam 20. So 20 out of 40 questions means I can say 50% of the questions. Your total 40 questions in your main exam, right? Also you take a prelim exam, you can see 17, 15. So it almost what you called 20 out of 40 means almost 50% of the questions are based on data interpretation, and 15 questions if you take individual questions, almost of 40%, 37 to be precise, 37.5 or around 35% of the questions will be from individual quant questions. So students, you can clearly see these two are very, very important. Are you supposed to focus on these two? Because important for both prelim as well as main. Now, data sufficiency. This is one thing which you should focus, right? Now, data sufficiency, you have 2 statement questions, data sufficiency of 3 statement questions. Now, if you observe here, data sufficiency generally a part of main exam, not asked in a prelim exam. But if you look at 2019, not asked in main exam, but you can see 0 to 5. In one slot, they were data sufficiency 5 questions, right? So instead of quadratic comparisons, there were 5 questions of data. Then data comparison. Data comparison also generally a part of main exam. It was not there in 2017, not there in 2018 May. 2018 prelim, in one slot there were 5 questions. Generally a main exam pattern. So data sufficiency, data comparison generally asking a main exam. Now one more point is data sufficiency, data comparison generally main exam, but can be asked in prelim exam. You can see in one slot in PO, in one slot in clerk. In 2018. You have questions from data sufficiency and data comparison. So what does this mean? When main exam model can also be asked in prelim exam, but level of difficulty will be reduced. Similarly, you can see a quadratic comparison, generally prelim model asked in main examination in one of the slots. That means prelim exam question can also be asked in main exam, maybe level of difficulty will be increased. But broadly we can say quadratic comparison, simplification approximations important for prelim. Individual questions and data interpretation important for both the exams, prelim as well as main. Data sufficiency, data comparison generally asked in main exam. Very, very, very rarely, maybe one slot out of 16 slots, one slot out of 12 slots in a prelim exam. You can expect questions from data sufficiency, data comparison, but that too very, very easy questions, right? Then series, we have missing number series, wrong number series here. Generally, these are part of both prelim exam and main exam. 2017, 2018 it was asked in prelim exam, 2019 also prelim exam. We don't find questions in your main examination, but you can see here 5 to main. This is one thing which is very, very important, right? So why I'm giving 5 to 9 is in one of the slots there were 9 series questions. 9 series questions in one slot last year in 2019. So series generally important for both prelim and main, but if you look at RRBs particularly, 2018 main exam, 2019 main exam, questions were not asked. Prelim exam, definitely there are 5 questions. In one of the slots in main exam, there were 9 questions from wrong numbers, right? So I can say, let us look at our next slot. This is RRB office assistants, clerical exam, right? If you look at RRB clerks, quadratic comparison, minimum 2 to maximum 5, 0 to 5, 5. In maybe one exam, it was asked in main. But 2017 prelim, you don't have any questions on quadratic comparison. 18-19 main, you don't have quadratic comparison. Generally, I can say prelim exam. Simplification and approximation. This is very important if you are preparing for office assistant. Now, here students, simplification approximation scale 1, that is officer PO, your minimum 0 to 6, 0 to, that means you come across about 5 to 6 questions, right? But when you look at your clerk paper, simplifications and approximations have 10 questions. All these 10 in 2019 were on simplifications. Then 2018 there were 15 questions, 2017 also 15 questions. That is almost 3 times, right? Almost 3 times that appear in your that when compared to your PO paper, right? Not as in your main exam, generally not as in main exam, but 15 out of 40. Again, I'm saying this, almost some 35 to 40% of the questions are based on simplification approximation. 10 means 10 out of 40. 25% to 30%, 35% again will be from simplification and approximation. So if you are focusing on office assistant, you need to focus more on the simplification approximation. Again, this is your prelim exam model, not generally not asked in main exam. And you can see at 15, what happens in this 15 is 10 simplifications, 5 approximations. Now, when you see or this particularly PO paper, simplification approximation, most of the times, there will be approximation questions only. PO prelim. Maybe out of one slot out of 16 slots or one slot out of 12 slots, maybe one slot you can expect simplification questions. But clerk, yes, there were 10 simplifications out of 15, 10 simplification, approximation 5. So you have combination of both simplification and approximation. We will see what is simplification, what is approximation going forward. That individual quant questions you can see here. Prelim exam 15 questions, 10 questions, 5 to 10 questions. In some slots there were 5 questions, in some slots there were 10 questions. From 15, it has come down to 10 questions, right? Then main exam also 15. In 2019, they have come down to 10 questions. Individual questions again important for both prelim as well as main exam. Now, data interpretation. Data interpretation you can see here. Prelim 2017. How many questions, students? 5 questions. Prelim 5 to 10 questions. Prelim 2019. 10 to 15 questions. You understood why the number of questions in prelim exam have come down, individual questions, DA is increasing, right? 5, then 5 to 10, slowly it has become 10 minimum to maximum 15. In some slots there were 15 questions, in some slots there were 10 questions. Also look at this clerical, what you call main exam, 15 questions 2017, 2018 20 questions, 2019 25 out of 40. You can calculate the percentage, right? Almost 60, 62.5%. Sorry. Sorry, students. Right. So, what is happening here is the DI weightage is steadily increasing in your clerk exam. So, this is also important for both prelim and main. Data sufficiency generally asked in main exam 2017, 2018, not asked in your main exam in 2019, not a part of your prelim. So, I can say data sufficiency, data comparison. Main exam models, right? So data comparison was not there in 2017 or 2018. It was asked last year, 2019. There were 5 questions. No, wrong number or missing number series. Prelim 5, 2017 5, 2018 5, 2019 5. One unique thing, if you observe last 3 years, you can see here main officer scale 1 also students. You see here, you don't have questions in your main exam. Maybe 2007 there were 5 questions on wrong number. 2017, 2018, and 2019 there were no series questions. Clerk also 2017, 2018, 2019, there were no series questions. This is unlike your IBPS or SBA clerk. Generally, IBPS or SBA PO or IBPS or SBA PO clerk, main exam also you will have minimum 2 to 5 questions on series. But regional rural banks, officers and officer assistants, last 3 years, there were no questions on series in your main exam. But 5 questions were a part of your prelim examination, right? Now, let us summarize these students. What is important for both prelim and main? You tell me what is important for both prelim and main. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Voice is not clear. Parimalla. No, is it clear? Data, DI is data interpretation. Okay, voice is not clear. Parimalla, Tellur, is it clear? Vishal Saha, good evening, good evening. Is the voice clear? All of you, someone please respond. Is the voice clear? Maybe some internet connectivity issues, Parimalla. Just check out from your side. I think Clear. Meenakshi is saying clear. Okay, thanks. We'll take it forward. Right. Now, whatever we have discussed, we will take up this summary, students. Now. So, what is important for both prelim exam as well as your main examination? Here, data interpretation, arithmetic, and series generally asked in prelim. RRB exams not asked in your main exam, but to be on safe side, I'm saying prepare for both prelim exam as well as main exam. These topics, individual quant topics, arithmetic topics, data interpretation, and series. Important for only prelim, right? You cannot neglect for main exam. Simplifications, approximations, quadratic comparisons, generally asked in prelim exam. Maybe 1 odd slot, 1 odd year, you can expect questions in main exam also, but unlikely, very unlikely, but can be asked. Important for only main, data sufficiency, data comparison, but you can see here one of those slots in PO, you have 5 questions in data sufficiency, data comparison also, there were 5, right? Can be asked in prelim, but generally main exam areas. Now, we know that these are the topics which you should focus about, right? Series, data interpretation, individual quant questions, simplification, approximation, quadratic comparisons, data sufficiency, data comparison. Now, students, particularly RRB exam, there is no section-wise time limit, right? So you need to divide, you need to discuss, you need to divide section-wise time limit. Generally, we say that 45 minutes in prelim exam. Quantitative aptitude are generally time-consuming. You can do this way. You can spend 25 minutes on quantitative aptitude, another 20 minutes on your reasoning section. You can spend 25 minutes here. Now, point is like in these 25 minutes also, let us say, what is the order? Which topic I should start with? What order I should solve? You should have that clarity, right? Let us start. Let us look at. You tell me what order we should look at. What are the easiest thing out of all these? These are easier to solve. Simplifications, approximations, and series. These are easier to solve, students. Simplifications, approximations, and series questions. Voice is not coming. Anishka. Gayatri saying clear. Those who are saying voice is not clear, just check out the internet connectivity. Just check out the internet connectivity. Yeah. Anishka karo, just एक बार internet check कर लो और inbuilt. अगर if you are not using these headsets, kindly use headsets. Sometimes what happens is in your laptop, maybe inbuilt speakers may not work. So you little careful, right? Just check out. Voice is clear, sir. Satya. Okay, thank you. Let me continue. So this is the order: simplifications, approximations, and number series. Then we'll do quadratic comparisons. Quadratic comparisons also, see here, I'm telling you just attempt easy ones because you need to solve these 40 questions in 25 minutes in a prelim exam. This is a time limit we are looking at. So I'm saying attempt easy questions in your first round. Yes, if time permits, I'll definitely come back and attempt the lengthier questions. Lengthier questions means there will be certain quadratic comparison questions where the numbers are very big numbers, where it will take some time to factorize them, right? Those kind of questions you can push them towards the end. If time permits, we'll definitely come back and solve. But you need to start with simplification, approximation, series, and you have to do your quadratic comparison. These are the things which you need to first start with, because this will see the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if you can answer as many questions as possible, that will give you a lot of confidence. So start with easier things first. One, start with your scoring areas. So one, it should be easy. It should not put us under tremendous pressure. Second, once we solve, we should get some marks, right? So these are the topics which are easy, which will not be very difficult, and which will help you to boost your score. So start with simplifications, approximation, series, and do your quadratic comparisons. Then do your individual questions. That is your equation, ratio, time and distance, profit loss, probability, ages, ratio. We'll discuss what topics are regularly important, generally asked, and all those things we'll discuss when you're discussing individual questions. But preparation part for all these I'll take up separately. Right? I'm just telling you the order in which you should attempt your paper. So solve your individual questions, right? Then solve your data sufficiency and data comparison. Important for mains, but don't neglect for prelim exam. If you're writing a prelim exam, these are not a part of your prelim examination, right? So you can ignore. After this, you will directly go to your data. Now, I've written something here in brackets here. Leave caselet. What is caselet? Some raw verbal data will be given. You have to put this data in a structured format, in the form of a table or in the form of a Venn diagram. Then you have to solve the questions, right? Table, it is like readily available data. Bar graph, line graph, pie chart. That means data is available. Just read the data, understand the data, analyze the data, look at the question, solve it. But here, one more step is involved. Raw data will be given, verbal sentences. You have to put that in a structured format. You have to put in a format of a table or in the form of a Venn diagram. First, you have to put the data, then you have to solve the questions. Generally, caselet is time consuming. One. Second, if you make a mistake, in the process of just capturing that value, putting them in a tabular form or Venn diagram, one mistake you make, remaining all elements will go wrong and all 5 questions will be wrong. So students, the point is like caselet should be attempted towards the end if time permits. That too, the caselet which you have come across as a part of your preparation, maybe which you have solved from your material or which you have practiced during your preparation. Similar kind of caselet, yes, you can attempt, but that too towards the last 5 minutes. But preferably leave caselet. Main exam में तो छोड़िए. Main exam, see it will be main exam generally caselet. If you see caselet is 2 paragraphs in prelim exam. Main exam it will be 3 to 4 paragraphs and including 3 parameters. You have to take 3 Venn diagram and solve, particularly in main examination. So number of regions will be more. So there's a very fair chance that your time will overshoot. So main exam definitely not, but prelim exam maybe sometimes what happens is you will come across caselets which are solved as a part of your preparation. Sometimes prelim exam caselets will be easy. I'm saying those kind of caselets, yes, if you have come across, you can try, but not to in the beginning. You have to try towards the end, last 5 minutes. Then what is important in DI is selection of questions in DI is very, very important. Now, selection of sets and selection of questions, these are two different things. Let's say table is there, bar graph is there, line graph is there, and you have caselet, you have pie charts, right? These are the models in your bank exams. Now, students, I'm saying that if you're very good, comfortable with table, start with table. You're comfortable with line graph, start with line graph. Comfortable with pie chart, start with pie chart. Don't, if you're comfortable also, don't start with caselet. Caselet is the last thing to attempt, right? So try to select the sets which are most comfortable with. Second, selection of questions is also important. Now, DI set, let us say table set followed by set of 5 questions. These 5 questions ideally should be solved in 5 minutes. In these 5 minutes, you have to read the title, you have to note down the units, you have to read the data, you have to understand the data, you have to analyze the data, read the question, simplify it, mark it. Everything should be done in 5 minutes, right? So 5 minutes, you have to solve these 5 questions. 5 minutes, out of these 5 questions, I am saying if you have done 2 correct, it's a good score. If you have got 3 out of 5 correct, you have done an excellent job. Anything more than that is a bonus, right? Even I am writing the exam, I am saying that I will not be able to solve 5 out of 5 in the exam within the given time. And I've been teaching DA from last 20 years, but still I'll not be able. I'm not sure that I'll be able to solve all 5 out of 5. Out of those 5 questions, DA will be a combination of easy, moderate, and difficult questions. Identify 2 easy questions or 3 easy questions which involve lesser number of calculations. Solve them first. Point is, you have solved 3 out of 5. Another 2 questions left over. The point is, sir, I have understood, analyzed the entire data. Now let me solve those 2 questions also. So what happens? You'll solve those 2 questions. You'll get a wrong answer. You'll get a negative one. You'll spend another 3 minutes or 4 minutes here. I'm saying instead of spending those 3-4 minutes on these 2 questions, spend those 3 to 4 minutes on next set where you can get another 2 questions correct. Instead of getting a negative marking, you can get another 2 questions correct. So out of 5, identify 3 questions which are easy, less number of calculations. Try to attempt them first. 2 is a good score, 3 is a fantastic score, excellent. 5 out of 5, not possible. You have done 4 out of 5, I am saying superb. Stop there, go to next set and solve, right? So one, selection of sets. Select the sets which are most comfortable with. Second, selection of questions. That is also very, very important. That's what I have written here, right? Data from a set can look complicated, but questions can be simple. Sometimes what happens is you'll be getting very, very frightening data, particularly these exams, main exams. Data looks like it's like very, very complicated. But believe me, the most complicated data will have easy questions. The most complicated data will have almost all questions as approximation questions. So don't just look at the data and decide whether you need to attempt this set or not. Look at the data, look at the questions, then decide whether you're going to attempt that particular set. That's what I'm saying. They're likely to be easy questions in the difficult set. Use approximations, your speed math techniques wherever possible. Use your speed math techniques wherever possible. Right, students? This is the order. Okay, let me see if you have any questions. One second. Good evening, sir. Is there any topic in maths that I want to exclude? Apurva. Competitive exams, see, all topics are important. Don't exclude anything. Because we don't know. See, the point is, Apurva, what I'm trying to tell you here is, the point One second. The topics, because you will be writing a prelim exam in different slots. Let's say you ignore some topic. You may get 5-6 questions in your slot because you can't decide your slot, right? We don't know what comes in your slot. If you left out some topic in choice, then you'll be in trouble. Graduation also you might have come across, right? We have 5 units to study. You study 3 units and go. In these 3 units also we leave some subtopic. Then what happens is tomorrow definitely you might have come across question from that particular subtopic. All of you might have experienced during your 3 years, 4 years of your graduation, right? So no topic in choice. All topics are equally important. Competitive exam, every topic counts. If you want to be there in the merit list, you have to be thorough with all the topics. Yes, maybe some of the topics you feel difficult, but you need to focus more, practice more on them. Right, students? Let us look at preparation. These are basic things which you need to study. One, multiplication tables up to 20, preferably 20 into 1 to 20 into 20. 19 into 1 up to 19 into 1. 20 multiples compulsory, you have to study. No other way. You have to be thorough with your multiplication tables. Maybe at your school level, your maths teacher, your class teacher might have discussed about these multiplication tables, right? We have ignored. Comfortably, once we moved to our high school, nobody bothered about multiplication tables. Kuch bhi aaya, I can calculate. When we moved to our graduation, maybe your BCom or your engineering, your scientific calculators and calculators to do your calculations. Is the voice clear, Anika? 1 second, students. It's saying 1 second. Right. So it's prompting that some of the apps are using my audio. So I think it is clear now. We'll discuss, right? Okay, students. So multiplication tables is one thing which you should be thorough with. Then squares and cubes, right? Squares are first 50 natural numbers, cubes are first 20 natural numbers. These are the things which you should be thorough with. Squares and cubes. Then reciprocal values, fraction values. We will see what are those fraction values. You might have studied it. 1 by 2, how much percentage? 1 by 2 is equal to 50%, right? So how will you convert a fraction into percentage? We'll multiply by 100. 1 by 2 into 50%. So fraction values up to 1 by 2, 1 by 3, so on. You have to study up to 1 by 2, right? Complements of 100. What do you mean by complements of 100? How much we should add to make it to nearest 100? Let's say if I ask you 96, what's the complement of 96? 4. 91 complement 9. 81 complement 19. 64 complement 36. Right? So how much we should add to make it to nearest 100? Then percentage calculations, particularly for bank exam, these are very, very, very important. Maybe you take your DI or you take your individual questions. You have to be good at your percentage calculations. So maybe 10%, 20%, 40%. Percentage calculations are very, because most of the questions in DI are based on your percentages, right? Then quadratic comparisons, finding out roots. We don't have any questions based on quadratic comparison. He'll give you 2 equations. You have to compare, find out the roots. You have to compare those roots. Basic concepts of various topics of quantitative aptitude. So equation, ratio. See, it seems like, sir, we get only 15 questions. I need to study so many topics you have. Because see, the point is that you're not writing only RRB exams, right? You read RRB PO, RRB clerk, IBPS PO, IBPS clerk, SBA PO, SBA clerk. You read different a dozen other exams, right? LIC assistant, NIC, in all these exams, individual topics are going to be about 10 to 15 questions, right? So maybe individually there may be 1 question or 2 questions from the topic, but I'm saying there may be a lot more concepts, but you have to practice, because all together you'll be having somewhere around 15 questions. In some exams you even have 20 questions. Also, these concepts, whatever topics we are studying here, these are helpful in solving your data sufficiency and data comparison questions also. What is data sufficiency questions? Question followed by 2 statements. From whose statement you can answer the question. What is data comparison? Quantity 1, quantity 2 will be given. Some data here, some data here. You have to establish a relation between these two quantities. That is your data comparison, right? So the concepts, what concepts are tested in data sufficiency, data comparison? Your basic concepts of individual quant topics. So when you're studying that, it's not only useful for your individual quant topics, these are also helpful for your data sufficiency. These are also helpful to solve your data comparison questions. Also, these are helpful to solve your certain DI questions. Maybe if you have the last 2-3 years, not Gramina Bank, maybe regional rural bank, maybe 1 year it was asked, 2016. But regularly a part of your IB-based and SB exams, quant-based DI. What do you mean by quant-based data interpretation? Time and work with the DI, time and distance-based DI, probability-based DI, mensuration-based DI, simple interest, compound interest-based DI, profit and loss-based DI, partnership-based DI. Right, students? So quant concepts are combined with your DI and a DI set is formed. That is called quant-based data interpretation. Maybe if you look at other exams, IBPS or SBI PO exams or clerk exams, definitely you have quant-based DI. In Gramina Banks also, this time you can expect questions on quant-based DI. It was asked maybe 2016 in RRB officer scale 1 main exam. There was one quant-based DI. Last 3 years it was not asked, but this time yes. As you can see, the level of difficulty in maybe in your bank exams is gradually increasing. You can expect quant-based DI questions maybe this year in your Gramina Banks, right? So I'm saying time and work-based DI, time and distance, mensuration, simple interest components, probability, partnership, profit loss. Here, the concepts which you study here are useful to solve questions. So not only individually, maybe 1-2 questions, but when you look at all these data sufficiency, data comparison, quant-based DI, and I'm saying those are they form a prominent number of questions, right? We'll try to focus more on the topics. Apurva, thank you. How many data interpretation to practice a day? I'll discuss this, Meenakshi, once maybe repeat compliment Arun is saying. Okay, I'll repeat compliment Arun. Give me some time. DI, Meenakshi, I'll tell you when we discuss this particular thing. We'll discuss that. Maybe when I'm discussing the DI, I'll tell you the whole plan, what needs to be done. I'll discuss that. Now, compliments is nothing but, let me explain this. There is all this. Now I'm saying how much we should add to make it to nearest 100. 96 plus how much is 100? 4. If I say 91 plus how much is 100? 9. 72, 28, 64. How much I should add to get my nearest 100? 36. If I say 54, how much I should add around? 46. Right? So how much we should add to get my nearest 100? That is nothing but my complement. So benefits of learning multiplication tables. Okay, I'll take some 2-3 minutes of time. Let us discuss this, students. Now, this is a question for you. Let's see how many can answer this. Product of two numbers 144. Sum of the two numbers is 25. What are those two numbers? Product of two numbers is 144. Sum of two numbers is 25. Can you tell me those two numbers, students? Understood, sir. Arun. Thank you. Okay. (16 and 9), Monali, very good, very good. 16 and 9. 16 plus 9, 25. 16 into 9, 144. So I'm just telling you the advantages of learning multiplication tables, right? I'll ask you one more question. Sum of two numbers 126. Product of two numbers 126. Sum 23. Here I'm taking the same sum. Sum 25. Sanish is saying 14 11s. 14 11s is 154. Sanish. 154. Patan Shena 16 9s. Very good, right? Answer this. 126 product, sum 25. इतना टाइम? अरे 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 जल्दी 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 फास्ट. Hello, good evening. Rest of my people, about 200-300 people attending. Answer. Very good. 18-7. Again, Monali Rajurkar is answering. Very good, Monali. Nikita has answered. Vishal has answered. Vishal, what is that? 87? Okay, you typing mistake maybe 18 and 7. Okay, right. So 18 plus 7, 25. 18 into 7, 126. See, the point is like 13 14s. Apurva 13 14s nahi hai na? 182 na 13 14s. I need sum as 25 and product is 126. 12 into 12, 144. 18 and 7, Mosomi Pradhan. Very good. 14 nines, 126, but 14 plus 9, Sandeep, Yadav is 14 plus 9, 23. But I'm saying the sum is 25. So this is how you should learn multiplication table, right? I will not ask you like your small kid. Shivam is saying 18 and 7, correct? Repa, Vanik, 18, 7, correct? No, point is, I will not ask you, please tell me 12 ones are to 12 tens are, or tell me 19 table, tell me 18 table. Arun is saying 18, 7, good. No, I will not ask you those questions, right? So those generally school days we used to come across it. Tomorrow I'll ask you 12 table, please by heart and come. No, I'll not ask you that way. If I ask you, if I give you product of two numbers, sum of two numbers, you should be able to tell me from a multiplication table. You have to remember which two factors is equal to that, right? I'll ask you one more question. Product 136, sum of the numbers 25. Same sum, just focus on the sum. I'm not changing my sum. Sum 25, product 136. Sum 25, product 136. Chandrapatra 18.7. Okay, that was previous question. Chandra. Okay, this question, try all of you. Sandeep, Ranjit, Pratik, Mosumi, Ripa, Shivam, Arun, Minachi, Monali, Nikita, Chandra. 17 and 8. Vinay. Very good. 17 and 8. Very good. 17 plus 8, 25. 17 into 8 is 136. This is how I want you to learn your multiplication tables. Rishikesh, Nambiar, right. Very good. Sanish, right. Parida, correct. Loyola Institute of Technology. Okay, correct. Who is this? I don't know. Chandrapatra, correct. Ranjit Shukla, correct. Arun, correct. Sanjana, correct. Geeta, correct. Divyanshu, correct. Anvita, correct. Sandeep Yadav, correct. Parmila, correct. Is the voice clear, Parmila? Gayatri, correct. Shivam Kumar, correct. Gauri, correct. Arindam, correct. Swaraj, correct. Swaraj Rane. Good. Apurvaja, correct. Right. Mosumi, correct. Maloy Maji, correct. Good. Now, 17 and 8. This time, I'll give you only 5 seconds of time. If you're not telling me in 5 seconds, I'm going to answer this question. Only 5 seconds. Think. I'm going, starting. Product 156, sum 25. Madhuri, correct? Try this question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Fast, 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 fast. 12, 13. Aishwarya, very good. Correct. Aishwarya, correct. Harshita, not 19, 5, 95. I want 156. 13, 12. Divya, correct. Deepak, correct. Very good. Pratibha, correct. Monica Fernandez, correct. Rishikesh from here. Very good. 12 and 30. This is how I want you to learn multiplication. If you know this, then I am saying that your calculations will become very easy. Maybe your individual questions, or you take your DI, or you take your quadratic comparison, or you take your simplification approximation questions, those will be very easy. Reddy Kalyani, correct. Pathan, Shehnas, correct. Nikita, it is 12. I think it's a typing mistake. Correct only. Right. Arun, correct. Divyanshu, correct. 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 You corrected it, Nikita. I have seen. Revati, correct. Ashin Sheikh, correct. Correct. Madhuri, 19.6 to 144. I want 156, no? Shivam Kumar, correct. Nakka, Sasir, what is it? Sasi Ramya, correct. Uma Maheshwari, correct. I was just 2 seconds late, Apurva. Very good. Good. But it's okay. It's not a, see, the point is like I want to, what you call, give you some time, but it's okay. 2 seconds late, chalega, no issues. But you have to practice. Megha, correct. Paridhi, right. Okay, now I'll ask you one more question. Right? Let us see. Benefits of learning table. This is your first question on your screen. 91 by 10 plus C plus 91 by 10 minus C is equal to 20. C is equal to how much? I'll give you only 10 seconds of time. First. $91 by 10 plus C plus 91 by. Very good, Pratibha. Very good, Pratibha Gupta. Very good. Ranjit. Very good. Very good. Snehita. You are answering previous question. What is 13 and 7? What is C value? Acha, you might be writing that. C value, Snehita. C value. Pratibha correct, Ranjit correct. I am not giving the answer. Just Snehita, what you have written is the product, but I am saying this one answer. What is C value? Right. Again, this is based on my multiplication table. Here, students, Snehita 3. Right. 3 is correct answer. Very good. See, 91. If you add these two, you should get 20. Right. 91. If you multiply, the product of these two is 91, and sum of these two is 20. So if you look at your multiplication tables, 13 into 7 is 91. What is 13 plus 7? Pranavi 3, Nandini 3, right? 13 plus 7 is 20. So one should be 13, other should be 7. So my C value should be 3. So if I put C value as 3, see, don't solve quadratic equation 91 common 10 minus C, 10 plus C, 10 plus C into 10 minus C. Quadratic equation is not required, right? Don't solve it. Soumya, Madhuri, Revati, Meenakshi, yes, everybody is doing correct. Layola, yes, correct. So I'm saying that if I multiply, we should get 91. If you add, we should get 20. If I add these two, we should get 20. Sum is 20. If you multiply, you should get 91. So 13 sevens are 91. 13 plus 7, 20. So one should be 13, other should be 7. Right? So C value should be 3. So 91 by 13 is, how much is this? 7. 91 by 7 is 13. So 7 plus 13, we are getting 20. Okay. Let me ask you, Arun, correct answer. One more question. Try this. 135 by 12 plus C plus 135 by 12 minus C is equal to 24. You focus on the numbers. 135, if you multiply, if you add these two, we should get sum as 24. Sum is 24, product 135. Don't get into actual solving. If you know multiplication tables, we can answer the questions pretty easily. Answer. Janta, public, please answer, students. Very good. Ha. Sesiramya, you are giving the factors. What's the answer? Malay Maji, you are also correct, but you are giving the factors. Geeta, you are giving factors. I want answer. Meenakshi, correct answer. Ranjit, correct answer. Paridhi, correct answer. Snehita, correct answer. Monica Fernandez, correct answer. Hariprasad, correct answer. Pranav, correct answer. Praveen Kumar, you have again given the factors. I want answer. C value. Madhuri, correct answer. Arshita, again you have given factors. C value 3. Right, 3 is correct answer, right? Sahil, Sahil Raj, it's not 2, it should be 3. Just check out. Ravali 3, correct. Pratima Gupta 3, correct. Right. So written factors there, it should be 3. So in which multiplication table will come across 135, 15 table, right? So 15 into 9 is 135. 15 plus 9 should be 24. So one should be 15, other should be 9. So C value should be 3. 12 plus 3, 15, this is 9. 12 minus 3, 9. This is 15. 9 plus 15 is 20. C value is 3. Sahil. Correct. Good. Very good. I am impressed. Good. Very good response. Right. These are the reciprocal values today. This you need to be thorough. 1 by 2, right? I told you how to convert a fraction into percentage. 1 by 2 into 100 is equal to 50%. If you want to convert a fraction into percentage, you have to multiply with 100. 1 by 2 into 100 is 50%. 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, 1 by 5, 1 by 6, 1 by 7, up to 1 by 12. Not only these values are to by heart, including their multiple. That means 1 by 12 alone is not sufficient. 1 by 12, 2 by 12, 3 by 12, you have to learn up to 11 by 12. Similarly, 1 by 9, 2 by 9, 3 by 9, up to 1 less than denominator, 8 by 9, because 9 by 9 will be again 100%. Similarly, 1 by 11, 2 by 11, 3 by 11, up to 10 by 11. So not only this value, 1 by 7, 1 by 7 up to 6 by 7. 1 by, let's say, 6, 1 by 6 up to 5 by 6. I'm not going to discuss this because most of you have an idea about these reciprocal values. So all these reciprocal values, you have to by heart. Apurva said 3, Shivami is saying 3, correct answer for the previous question. Okay. So you have to by heart reciprocal values, including their multiples. The way you need to by heart is similar to the way we have discussed your multiplication tables. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is, see, I'll not ask you how much is 2 by 9. 2 by 9 is 22.22. Or I'll not ask you to tell you 1 by 9 to 8 by 9. That anybody can do. What happens is, I'll ask you 30%, 40%. Between these two, what are all the standard reciprocals? That is my question. Between these two, what are the standard reciprocals? One is 1 by 3, 33.33%. Then we have 37.5%. That is nothing but 3 by 8. So I'm saying, if I give you a particular range, you should be able to tell me what all reciprocals will fall in that particular range. That is how you should by heart, right? So these are very important things. Reciprocal values you have to by heart. Let us look at some time on percentage calculations. Now, students, tell me how much is 10% of 5,000? 500. Any number. 10%. Put a point after 1 digit. 1% from right side. Just put a point after 2 digits. 50. 0.1%. Just put a point after 3 digits. Fine. Because 10% is 10 upon 100. Percentage is by 100. So it is 1 by 10. So you're putting a point after 1 digit. 10 in the denominator. 1% is 1 upon 100, 2 zeros, so we have to put a point after 2 digits. 0.1% is 1 by 1000, 1 upon 1000 is 3 zeros, we'll put a point after 3 digits. So 10%, 1%, 0.1%. Any number, you can do the same thing, right? If I ask you 1728, how much is 10%? Very good, 172.8. How much is 1%? 17.28. How much is 0.1%? 1.728. Right? Now I'll ask you one more question. Let's see. If I want to find out from which state I can fill my form for RRBPO, Samir, so from your actual state, now you should know the local language. Definitely, you should know reading and writing. So you should be from a local state. Okay. If I ask you how much is 5%? 5%. 5%, I can solve like this, right? How will we do 5%? 5% is 5 times of 1%. 1% is 50. 5 into 50 is 250. Or the other way of looking at it is 5% is half of 10%, because making half is easy. 10% 500, half of 50 is 250. Half of 500 is 250. So half of 10%. Now if I ask you 2.5%, simple. Half of 5%. 5 में आधा. 250 half is 120. Right? You just tell me 1728. How much is 5%? Half of 10%. 172 half, 86.8 half is 4. If you ask you 2.5%, again half of 5%, 43 point. So you should be good at doubling and making it half. Why doubling and making it half is, let us say if I ask you 20%. How will you find out 20% students? 20% is 2 into 10%. If I ask you 30%, 3 into 30%. 40%, 4 into 10%. 30% is 3 into 10%. 20% is 2 into 10%. Or if I ask you 40%, you can say 4 into 10%. Or 10% double 20, again double 20%, we get 40. So you should be focusing on doubling and making it half. Okay, let us take this. 10% 913. Very fast, I'll give you 10 seconds. 40% you find out and tell me. Video is fast, Shivam Kumar. Is the video fast, Anita? Just check your internet connection, Shiva. 3672. Very good. Very good, Meenaj. Sasi Ramya, correct. 36. Ramya, it is 3652, I think. Just check out. 3652. 365.2. Right. 3652 is the correct answer. Most of you answered that. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Right. So 10% is, so someone is asking, okay. Let me take up that question then. 10% is this one, 40% is how much? So 40% is 4 into 10%, 4 into 913. 900 4s 3600, 13 4s are 52, 36 52. Or I told you 10% double 20, 20 double 40. So 913 double, 900 double 1800, 13 double 26, 18 26 double, 18 double 36, 26 double 52. 10 double 20, 20 double 40. Right, 36 52. Very good. Okay. Try this question, students. 37.5% of 960. 37.5% of 960. Try this. 37.5% of 960. It's not 390. Paridhi, just check out. You made small mistake. Geeta, correct answer. Parimala, correct answer. Aishwarya, correct answer. Pratibha, just check the answer. You have written 3652. Maybe that's the previous question answer you are telling me. Sahil, 600 nahi aayega na Sahil. Just check out. Nakka, Sisi Ramya, correct. Anil, correct. Ranjit, correct. Swaraj, correct. Very good. Monali, very good. Nandini, correct. Pratibha, correct. Pratibha, correct answer. Very good. Hitesh, correct. Revati, it is not 330, it should be 360. Twinkle, correct. Mega Saini, correct. Acha, mujhe ek baat batao. Who is this? Ravali. How do you got this 120? You are not multiplied with 3. You left out 3. Ravali, just check out. Prati, kitna lamba answer nahi aayega yaar. Just check out. Monica Fernandez, correct. Nancy Sharma, correct. Ishwarya Balsubramaniam. It's not 355. No, it is 3. It should be 360. 259. No, somewhere you made a mistake, guys. Just check out. Just check out. Right. How will we? So those who solved, those who got 360, can you tell me how did you arrive at this 360? How did you simplify? Option say correct. Sanish, those who have given answer as 360, correct answer. Very good. Snehita saying 3 by 8. Very good. Very good. Right. Let me explain this. Multiplied with 3 by 8, 3 by 8, 960 by 100, 3 by 8 into 960. Very good. Okay, I got it. Right. So how much is 30%? Just here, students. 30%. What is my 10%? This is my 960, right? 960. 10% is 96. So 30% is 3 into 96. Okay, fine. So 270 plus 18, 288. This is my 30%. To this, I'm adding 5%. 10% for 96. 5% is half 48. 37.5. So I'm writing it as 30% plus 5% plus 2.5%. 2.5% would be half of 5%, 24. So add all this, it will be 360. Or कर सकते Chitresh, correct. Chitresh Paul, correct. I'll tell you that. See, we can take 40% minus 2.5%. How much is 10%? 96. 20%? 192. 40%? Double, not 10 double 20, 20 double 40. 384. So 40%, 384. Subtract 2.5%. 10%, 96. 2.5 is 1/4. Half of that 48, half of that 24. Subtract 24, 360. So we can take 40%. From whose state? Samir, I have answered this question. You have to answer, you have to select your home state. You should know the local language to answer, to apply for RRB, right? So 40 minus 2.5 or, see here, one of my friends saying 50%. How much is 50%? 480. The given number is always 100%, right? So 480, right? From this, I want 37.5, subtract 12.5%. 12.5% is 1 by 8 of this, na? 12.5% we know 1/8. So 1/8 of 960, subtract 120. The different ways of solving this. 360. Out of all these, Ranjit is saying hi. Okay, hi. Out of all these, the easier would be this one, right? Those most of you told me 37.5%. If I have added the reciprocals, I know it is 3 by 8. 8 goes 120 times. 3 into 120 should be 360. Samir saying thank you. Okay. Okay, simplifications and approximations. So you have to learn speed mass techniques, particularly this topic. Learn speed mass technique. That means maybe squares, maybe cubes, guessing square root, guessing cube root. Then you're finding out the 2-digit multiplications, 2-digit into 2-digit, 3-digit into 3-digit multiplications, additions, subtractions, percentage calculations. All these things will improve your speed, will help you to solve your simplification approximation questions also, students, right? So learn speed mass techniques, reciprocal values, multiplication tables, percentage calculations, and most important thing is you have to improve your speed and accuracy. Only the secret is practice. As many questions as possible you have to practice. That will improve your speed as well as your accuracy, right? So let us take one example on simplification. Now here, this is my question type. Let us try this question, easy question. Solve this, students. This is simplification. This is simplification. Okay, we need to take up individual questions because that is very important. So anybody in a hurry, just wait for another 15-20 minutes. We'll wind up. I would like to just tell you how to do your individual question. That is very important because prelim and main about 15-20 questions. So what is the answer for this? Answer for this. This is simplification. Simplification questions you have to take the numbers as it is, right? So you know BODMAS rule, right, students? BODMAS. Brackets of division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. You have to follow this order while simplifying. So what is the order of preference? Division, then multiplication. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 4 by 11 into 0.25. 0.25 we know it is 1 by 4. So 11 ones, 11 twos, 11 threes, 11 fours. Again, 4 threes are 12, 0, 4 eights are 32, 23, not 8.5. This is simplification question. You have to take the exact number and solve. So first division, then multiplication. Right. See the difference you understood. What comes in place of question mark in the following questions indicate simplification questions. You look at approximation questions. What he is saying here in approximation questions is, just observe this. Note, you are not, this will be given, not expected to calculate the exact value. This means this is an approximation. Approximation questions, you are not supposed to take the exact value. It will be very, very time consuming. You take a nearest value and solve. Try this. 152.957 divided by 16.96 into 1.98. Don't look at this and don't get frightened. This is an approximation. Clearly, you added, see in the previous question, you can see what will come in place of question mark. It is a simplification question, but this is an approximation. He is clearly saying that you are not expected to calculate the exact value. That means options will be quite far away in the exam. So tell me what is the answer for this? Approximation. Don't see if you take the actual value is given here and if you are trying to solve, then good night. Tomorrow morning we'll meet. So this is not simplification. This is an approximation question. Video. Hello, my dear students. Monali, Swaraj, Janavi, Meenakshi, Arun, Parimala, Aishwarya, Sahil Baba, Shashiramya, Anil, whatever names I can see in these questions. Paridhi, Geeta. Hello, good evening. Alright. Alright. Using your calculator, mobile calculator. No. Don't do that. Fast Baba. Right. I'll solve. You see. What is BODMAS rule? Bracket of division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So first comes division, then comes my multiplication. The division is given preference. 152.957, approximately 153, right? By 16.96 is 17 into 1.98 is 2. 17 9s are 153. 9 into 2, 18. Simple answer. What is there? Correct? Not even a single reply. You understood the difference? So you're not expected to calculate the exact value. Means you can take the nearest value and you can solve 152. But if you take actual 152.957, I told you, good day. Tomorrow morning you'll get the answer, right? So closest value, nearest value is 153. 16.96 nearest value is 17. 1.98 is nearest value is 2. So division is first preference, then multiplication according to BODMAS rule. So 153 by 17 into 2. No response. Hello, followed. All of you not followed. अरे कोई तो भी बोलो अंडरस्टूड बोल के ऑडिबल okay so 18 is my answer. Next question, quadratic comparisons. So two quadratic equations will be given. You have to find the roots of the quadratic equation. Ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. One way to is to use your formula minus b plus or minus under root b square minus 4ac by 2a, but generally this will be lengthy and time consuming, right? So what we do is we use factorization method, right? Preferably. So for factorization method, you should be good at your multiplication tables, right? Now certain questions can be answered using the sum of the roots and product of the roots, maybe one odd question, right? So what is sum of the roots? Minus b by a. What is product of the roots? C by a. Now you tell me one thing, if product of the roots, there are two roots, right? So quadratic equation, two roots, product of the roots is positive. So my both the roots, if product of roots is positive, means both the roots can be negative or both the roots can be positive, right? What is positive into positive? Positive. What is negative into negative? Positive. So if both the product of roots is positive, means I can say both the roots are either positive or negative. Now product of roots is positive, sum of roots is positive. Product positive, sum positive. We can say both the roots are positive. If I say product of roots positive, but sum is negative, so both the roots are negative, right? Because product of roots positive means I have two cases, right? Both are negative roots or both are positive roots. Now look at sum of the roots. If sum is positive, product positive, sum also positive means both the roots should be positive. Product positive, sum of the roots is negative means both the roots should be negative, right? Okay. Based on this, I'll give you this question. You try to answer this question. What is my sum of roots here? What is sum of roots? Positive. What is product of roots? Positive. Product of roots is c by a, positive. Sum of roots is minus b by a. Minus of minus 50 means plus. Both are positive. So you have to compare these two roots, right? So this is given in one of your examinations. In the first equation, you can see product of the roots is positive and sum of the roots is positive. Product positive and sum positive means both the roots are positive. In the second case, you see here, product of the roots positive, sum of the roots negative. If sum, because sum is minus b by a, so minus b by a, I'll get minus 7 here. So product positive, sum negative means both the roots are negative. Now here both roots are positive, here both roots are negative. Clearly I can say this is more than this without actually solving or finding out the roots. So sometimes knowing product of the roots and what you call sum of the roots will also help you to solve the questions. Also students, just look at this. One more point which I am trying to tell you is factorization method you prefer, that will be actually easy to what you called find out the roots rather than using the formula. Anybody using formula, stop it, right? Don't use formula, use factorization method. Messages are not reaching. Now I can see. Now I can see. There's some issue. Okay, now I can see. Which two questions, Deepak? Right. Samir, I can't see my recorded lectures in SHP. What you need to do is you just send a mail. I'm giving an email ID, info@timeforeducation.com. info@timeforeducation.com. अच्छा दीपक, quadratic equation कुछ नहीं है. This here I'll tell you. I'll explain. What I'm trying to say is quadratic equations. You can find out the roots using this formula, or you can find out the roots using what you call factorization method. Preferably, we are telling you that use factorization method. Let's say x square plus 7x plus 12. Instead of using the formula, use factorization method. How will you do factorization method? You multiply this, right? You have to, if you multiply, you should get 12. If I add, I should get sum, right? Multiply constant term and x square term, 12x square. If I add, we should get the middle term, 7x. So x square, I'll write this as 4x plus 3x plus 12 is equal to 0. 4x plus 3x is 7x. 4x into 3x is 12x square. So it is equal to sum and it is equal to product. X into, I'll take x common. 3 into x plus 4 is equal to 0. So x plus 4 into x plus 3 is equal to 0. I'll get x is equal to minus 3 comma minus 4. Instead of doing this is a regular factorization method. What I'm trying to tell is x square plus 7x plus 12, right? Now you should be good at your multiplication tables. If I multiply 12 with x square, you should get product as 12. Sum is equal to 7. Right? Sum is 7 and product is equal to 12. So what could be the numbers? My numbers can be 4 comma 3. So I'll write down, while writing down the roots, what happens is here 4 into 3 is 12, 4 plus 3 is 7. They will change their sign because actually we are getting minus 3 minus 4 when we are sending that side. So we have to see, if you multiply, you should get 12 into, here no coefficient here, 12 into 1 is 12. If you add, you should get 7. So what are my numbers? 4 3s are 12, 4 plus 3 is 7. By writing down the roots, you should change the sign. If it is plus, you have to make minus. If it is minus, you have to make plus. So it is positive, so minus 4 plus 3. So I'll change the sign, minus 3. And divide by coefficient of x square. What is coefficient of x square? Nothing means 1. So minus 4 by 1, minus 3 by 1. Nothing but minus 4, minus 3. So I'm saying just use your factorization method to find out the roots. That's a positive and negative roots. Okay, I'll explain this also. Right. Just here. How will you get sum of the roots? Sum of the roots is minus b by a. This is a standard formula. Ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Sum of the roots is minus b by a. Some product of the roots is c by a. Now what I'm trying to say is, if product of the roots is negative, what can you conclude? Sorry, product of roots is, let us say, positive. What will happen? There are two cases. What is case one? I have two roots, right? Both the roots can be positive. Positive into positive is positive. What is my case two? Both the roots can be negative. Negative into negative is positive. Positive into positive is positive. So if you can see that product of the roots, if you are getting a positive value, product of the roots, I can say both the roots can be negative or both the roots can be positive. I don't. It may be both can be positive or both can be negative. Along with this, if I say product of the roots is positive and sum of the roots, if I add those roots, I'm getting a positive sum. Product positive, sum positive. Just here, what is positive plus positive? Positive. What is negative plus negative? Negative. But I should get positive sum. Product positive, sum positive means both the roots are positive. Now if I say product is equal to positive, and I'm saying sum is negative, right? Product positive, sum is negative. Now product positive means both can be positive, both can be negative, but I should get negative sum. Plus plus plus, though positive plus positive is positive, negative plus negative is negative. So product positive, negative, sum is negative. I can say both the roots are negative. So based on this, there were quite a few times there were questions in your prelim exam, quality comparisons, which you can do easily using this concept. That was my next example, right? So can I apply for RRB? There is no vacancy in Kerala. Kerala might, see, there is no vacancy in Kerala as of now, Rupa, but may announce very soon. Very soon they can announce, then you can apply. But you can't apply right now. You can apply later on. So in my 11th June class, quadratic equation, I can't understand. Okay, yeah, you just send a mail na Samir, info@timeforeducation.com. I'll see क्या करना है, क्या कर सकते हैं. इसको भेजिए, they will forward that mail to me. I'll see what needs to be done. Now, I'm just asking you, just here, if you can see here, this was the question I was talking about, right? So these two equations were given in the, these two equations were given in your examination. Without solving, we can answer this question. That's what I'm trying to explain. Those who are not followed, take all classes of aptitude by you. ठीक है, लूंगा देखेंगे, वो बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे. Just look at this. I have individual questions. Now, इसका sum of the roots क्या है? Minus b by a. Minus of b value is how much? Minus 15 by a value is no coefficient here, so 1. So sum is positive, right? Product, I'm talking about first equation. Product is c by a, so 26 by 1. Product is positive. Now you take second, this one. Product of roots c by a, 10 by 1, pi coefficient is 1, c is this, it is positive. What is sum here? Sum is minus b by a, right? So minus b value is 7, a is 1, sum is negative. Now if you observe here, product of the roots positive, sum is positive. So product positive means, I told you there are two cases. Both the roots can be positive or both the roots can be negative. You have to look at your sum, right? So product positive, sum positive means I can say both the roots here are positive. Product positive in the second case, sum is negative. So both the roots are negative. I'm saying without actually solving this equation, I can say both the roots are positive here, both the roots are negative here. I can say first equation is greater than second equation, right? Without solving. That's what I have written, right? Let us take up individual questions, students. These are definite questions from your prelim and main. All topics are important, but these are more important. Pranav is saying x greater than y, correct. Right. Another 10-15 minutes. Let me focus this very quickly. We'll just see these individual questions. Profit loss, partnership, time and work, time and distance, mensuration, probability, averages, mixes and allocation. You can expect minimum 1 to 2 questions from each of these topics. So these are definite, sure, short topics in your prelim as well as main. All are important, right? You have to prepare other topics like simple interest, compound interest, and whatever topics that are left out. Maybe percentages, maybe ages, right? Maybe ratio questions. You'll have questions from these also, but maybe one question. But these, maybe whenever you have 20 questions, 15 questions, you can expect 1 to 2 questions from definite sure shot questions from these topics, right? So main exam, this time you can expect fill in the blank based questions, case-led based quant questions. What do you mean by case-led based quant questions? Generally what happens is common data is given followed by 2 or 3 questions. So time and work case-led. There will be common data followed by 3 questions. Time and distance, small case-led. You have to solve this, then you can answer all 2 questions or 3 questions that are following. Fill in the blank questions. Maybe if you are attending our time classes, we are giving you this fill in the blank questions, right? A question will be given followed by with blanks in between, right? You have to fill those blanks. You have to choose from your options and so on. Fill in the blank question. Generally, you are a part of your IBPS/SBI PO main. I am saying you can expect in RRB, not should, but you can expect in RRB. Please put this video in on YouTube. Clevin. Okay, we'll do that. Understood, Deepak. How easily prepare about these top. I'll tell you what is meant by mensuration, geometry and mensuration. क्या होगा ना? You will come across questions on cubes. You will come across questions on cuboids. You remember? You take a rectangle, area, perimeter. You take a cube-based question, total surface area, lateral surface area. Those are the questions on mensuration, right? So how to prepare? Pratik is asking. I'll discuss that. Learn basic concept. This is very, very important. These are helpful for your data sufficiency and data comparison. So friends, see, formula-based questions, shortcut-based questions. We are giving you wherever you need shortcuts, wherever formulas are required. We are giving you. But point is like these are to some extent helpful for your prelim exam. But if you look at your main exam level questions, the main important, see the point is like it is maybe difficulty level is more than prelim, but you can find more of application based questions in your main exam. Application based questions, right? You find more of application based questions in your main exam. Lengthy, time consuming, application based question. That means if you simply by heart formula or shortcut, if you don't know the basic concept, then you will be in trouble. So students, you have to learn along with basic concept, you have to learn formula and shortcuts. Questions given in time, DI material very tough. Can I expect these tough questions? Those are actual exam questions, Praveen. Those are actual exam questions. Yes. You have to prepare that level. Maybe if you tell me that exercise number, question number, then I'll tell you the prelim or main. Prelim you cannot expect that many difficulty level, but main you can expect. How many DI sets to practice per day? Meenakshi, you can. I'll discuss that. DI sets is about. See, the point is like I'll tell you about preparation. I'll discuss that. Give me 2 minutes. I'll discuss that. Right. So practice more number of questions, more number of what we call things, so that you will get some clarity and you can improve your speed and accuracy. And you should look at smarter way of solving these questions, right? So you should think about logical approach. Maybe you take your DI or this one, take your logical approach or observation based questions is there. Minimize while writing the number of steps, try to minimize the steps. So you should think about the smarter way of solving these questions, particularly individual questions. Maybe you're preparing individual or you're preparing your DI or you're taking a simplification approximation. First thing, you need to prepare those basic concepts which I told you: multiplication table, squares, Qs, percentage calculations, all those. Now you take one topic, let us say you take time and work. You need to take out your classroom notes, then take out your solve whatever basic questions you have given, then start solve questions from your handouts, solve questions from your study material booklet, solve questions from your online sectional tests. Then comes your mock test. Order of preparation. So first we will do our classroom handouts, then we'll do a study material booklet, then we'll do our online sectional test, then we will take our mock test and we will solve the questions, right? So you take topic by topic and solve. Now, Meenakshi, how many DI sets? The point is like, let us say you take table. In table, you will have single table, double table questions, or you'll also have missing data table questions. So I'm saying take each model, take about 2-3 sets of each model, try to finish off in 2 to 3 days. Let's say pie chart you take. You'll have single pie chart, you have double pie chart questions, you have 3 pie chart questions, then total value given, total value not given, ratio given, percentage given. You have different types of pie chart questions, right? So I'm saying select some, let us say 10 sets or 15 sets. On each model, you select some 2 to 3 sets, about 15 sets. Every day, try to solve about 3 sets to 4 sets of DA. That means if you take pie chart, finish off pie chart, then go to line graph model. Then finish off line graph. That is why in your sectional test also you bifurcated that, right? Finish off line graph, then go to bar graph. Finish off bar graph, then you can take up tables. So you take your topic, finish that. You take individual questions also, time and distance. You take individual questions. You try. See, if you take up a particular topic, if you go order, handouts, then study material, then sectional test, then mock test. So point is like you can pinpointedly identify this is my weak area, because if you come back and say, sir, time and distance, I am not able to solve. I'll tell students do this exercise for 3 days. Take out your handout, study materials, sectional test, mock test, and come back and tell me the result. Now, time and distance, we have different subtopics. General questions, average speed, relative speed, trains, boats and streams, linear races, circular races. Now, once you do this exercise, you can classify the questions which are not able to solve. Those will fall into 1 or 2 subtopics. Let us say, sir, I'm not able to solve trains questions. I'm not able to solve races questions. That means your concept in trains and races is not clear. Or you can say, sir, boats and stream questions I'm not able to solve. So whatever you're not able to get, those will fall into 1 or 2 categories. So I'm saying you have to practice more. Your concept may not be clear. You identify the practice more. So when you do this with pie chart questions, sir, I'm able to solve single pie chart questions, but I'm not able to solve double pie chart. That means you have to solve more of double pie chart questions. Or you can say, sir, percentage pie chart is given in percentage, I'm comfortable. Pie chart given in degrees, I'm not comfortable. That means you should be revising your percentage to degree conversion, degree to percentage conversion, right? Let me take up many questions are there. Let me take up IT officer single exam, prelim difficulty level or main difficulty level. So it will be about main exam difficulty level only, Saroj. Other subjects webinar similar to this one. Yes, we have taken up reasoning last week. Maybe if you want, I'll upload that Gita. You can watch in your website, YouTube. YouTube.com. You have to go for Time for Education channel. YouTube. You can see previously also we uploaded reasoning videos. Time for Education YouTube channel. Time for Education YouTube channel. You can find all the videos there. I attend RRB exam is helpful. If I attend just 5 to 6. REPA, yes, it is definitely helpful. You have joined 5 to 6 days back. But see, point is like every day RRB exam, if you want to crack, apart from attending classes, you need to at least practice some 5 hours to 6 hours. You need to spend on whatever topics you completed. You have to revise those topics along with external tests and mock tests. Definitely, it will help you. Meenakshi is saying that, are there any tips for series? Series tips, Anasuya, we have discussed in reasoning session. You can go back to and check there how to approach solve questions based on direction scenery. Reasoning we have done last week, Anusuya, right? You can try there. What is a cutoff? A cutoff is all depends on, see, cutoff is uploaded on the website. You can check out there. Let me complete this. Answer these questions, students. In a zoo, there are certain number of peacocks and rabbits. Maybe little fast, maybe 5 minutes we'll finish up. Total number of head is equal to 80 and total number of legs is equal to 200. Find the number of rabbits. So what's the regular way of solving this? Let's say number of rabbits be x and number of peacocks be 80 minus x, because there are total 80. So I'm saying 80 minus x is total, right? So let us take this. So a rabbit will have 4 legs. So 4x rabbits means 4x. Peacock will have 2 legs. 2 into 80 minus x is equal to total legs 200. We'll write the equation. We'll solve. We'll get x is equal to 20. So x is nothing but my number of rabbits. Can I get this recorded lecture? मिल जाएगा हितेश YouTube पे time for education channel. We'll upload this. How to attempt 80 questions in 40 minutes only. Paribala, see, the point is quant, you have to attempt 25 minutes you spend. For reasoning, you spend 20 minutes. Or either way, depending on your strong and weak areas. Right? Same question, see, a smarter way of solving individual questions. See, the same question, instead of writing equation and solving, we'll do like this. Let us say all whatever are present in all of them be peacocks. Let's say all the 80 be peacocks. All 80 animals that are present be peacocks. Oral approach, I am saying. If all are peacocks, each peacock will have 2 legs. So 80 peacocks means how many legs are there? 160. But actually, how many legs are there? 200. So how many more legs are present? Actual number of legs 200. So how many more legs I have? 40 more legs. Why we are getting 40 more legs? Because sir, all are not peacocks. Some of them are rabbits. Rabbits will have how many legs, students? 4 legs. So rabbit is having how many more legs compared to peacock? 2 more legs. 40 by 2, I'll get 20 as rabbits. You got my point? Let us say all of them. You can take all of them as rabbits and you can solve. Unable to hear. Anika, hear? Just check out your internet connection. Right. Let us say all of them are peacocks. Let us say all of them are peacocks. Each peacock will have 2 legs. So 2 into 80, there should be 160 legs. But you have 200 legs. So how many legs more? 40 legs more. Why we are getting 40 legs more? Because all of them are not peacocks. Some of them are rabbits. So rabbit will have, compared to peacock, 2 legs more. 40 by 2 is 20. Minimum number of questions to solve. See, there's nothing called minimum number of questions, Geeta. You just go through the cutoffs uploaded on our website, timeforeducation.com/bank exams. So you cannot keep that minimum number and go, but try to maximize your attempts. Just look at this question. Look at this question. After this, I'll take up your main exam questions. Average of 4 consecutive numbers A, B, C, D is 34.5. Find the product of B and D. So consecutive numbers means you know, right? One after the other. So let us say first number is X. Second number is 1 more X plus 1. C is X plus 2. D is X plus 3. So average means sum of all quantities by total number of quantities. X plus 1 plus X plus 2, X plus 3 by 4 is 34. X is equal to 33. So what are my numbers? 33, 34, 35, 36. We want product of these two. So 34 into 36. How will you get 34 into 36? You know 2-digit multiplication, right? Praveen, how many shortcut approaches? See, the point is like it is not shortcut. It is an alternate method. It's not formula, right, Praveen? It is an alternate approach to solve this question. So the more you practice, the more you remember, right? So 34 into 36 you either multiply, or the easier way would be 34 can be written as 35 minus 1. 36 can be written as 35 plus 1. So this is in the form of A minus B into A plus B. So it is 35 square minus 1 square. You know 35 square, right? 35 square is 5 square 25. Increase 3 by 1, it will be 4. 1225 minus 1, 1224 is max. Now, other alternate approach would be here. Alternate approach would be Reddy Kalyani 1224 is correct. Now, ABCD, we know that consecutive integers x, x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3. If there are consecutive integers, average is given by first term plus last term by 2, a plus d by 2. is equal to 34.5, or I can say average is average of middle two terms. B plus C by 2 is equal to 34. Is there an even number of terms? Generally, it is first term plus last term by 2, or it is second term from the first, second term from the last, middle two terms also. B plus C by 2. So what is B plus C? 34.5 into 2. Orally, I am saying this, right? 69. B plus C is 69. These two are consecutive integers. Some should be 69, one should be 34, other should be 35. So B 34, C 35, D should be 36, A should be 33. I can answer it, 34 into 36. Average consecutive integers, first term plus last term by 2, or second from the first, second from the last. Or it's an odd number of terms, middle term is average, even number of terms, average of middle two terms. So it can be A plus D by 2, or it can be B plus C by 2, average of middle two terms. B plus C by 2 is 34.5, B plus C is equal to 69. We know these are consecutive integers. It should be 69, some should be. One is 34, other is 39. Number before that is 33, number after this is 36. We can multiply. So this is, I'm saying regular approach which all of you follow. I'm saying follow this approach. I'm looking at smarter way to solve questions. This, if you attend coaching, these kind of things will definitely help you, right? Now, that's what I've written here. This, okay, we can skip this. Let us look at this question number 4. Anybody would like to answer this question? This is your main exam level question. This is your main exam level question. The point is, see, main exam question is not difficult, as you are saying, it's not difficult, but it is application based. Look at this. Raj buys a certain number of biscuits, chocolates, and pastries. Okay. He has to buy at least 11 items of each. Minimum 11. At least 11 means he can buy minimum 11. He has to buy, or it can be more than 11 also, right? He buys more biscuits than pastries and more chocolates than. So chocolates more than biscuits, more than pastries. So number of chocolates he's purchasing should be more than biscuits. Biscuits should be more than pastries. He pick up a total of 38 items. That means chocolates plus biscuits plus pastries should be 38 altogether. How many biscuits does he buy? So if I see a chocolate, biscuit, pastry, chocolate should be more than biscuits, biscuits should be more than pastries. But minimum, I know that each item should be 11. So pastries should be minimum 11, right? What is my total? 38, right? So biscuits can be, should be more than pastries. Let us take, it can be 12. So 11 plus 12, 23, total 38. 38 minus 23, chocolates can be how much? 15, right? 11 plus 12, 23, 38 minus 23, chocolates should be 15. Now, pastries can be 11. Biscuits are more than pastries, not what you call one more, right? It can be any number more. I can take 13. This is 24. 38 minus 24, this is 14. Condition: chocolate more than biscuit, chocolate more than biscuit, biscuit more than pastry. This is 11. Let's say this is 14. If this is 11, this is 14, 25. This should be 13. But it is not satisfying my condition. Now, chocolate should be more than biscuit. Chocolate is less than biscuit, but biscuit is more than. So this is ruled out. Now, chocolate, biscuits, pastry. Can pastry be 12? Let us check out. If it is 12, it should be minimum how much more? It should be more means minimum it should be 13. 12 plus 13, 25. 38 minus 25, this should be 13. Right? We clearly know that biscuit is more than pastry and chocolate should be more than biscuit, but they are equal here. So pastries cannot be 12. It cannot be 12 means it cannot be more than 12 also. So what is my question? How many biscuits he has bought? There are two cases here. Right? Biscuits can be 12 or 13. So I'm saying it is not a difficult question, but I'm saying it's an application based question, right? Look at this. I'll tell you, I have given a regular solution. You just look at that solution and I'll tell you a very simple method to solve this. This is also your main exam level question. Siri spends 84% of her monthly salary on grocery, transport and medical bills in the ratio of 3:4:5. So 84% of monthly salary is spending. So she saves the remaining. So how much percent she is saving? 16%, because total income is 100%. Her expenditure is 84%. Savings are 16%. Just look at the way I am solving this question. I am telling you the regular approach and shortcut approach, right? So if the amount spent on groceries, okay, is 4641, find the amount spent on savings. What's the regular approach? We'll solve like this, right? Let us say salary is equal to 100x. What is her expenditure? Expenditure is 84x, because 100x she is spending 84%. So 84% will be 84x. So amount spent on groceries. This is grocery is to transport is to medical, right? Grocery is 3 parts out of 12 parts into 84x. 12 goes 7 times. Amount spent on grocery is 21x. So 21x is equal to amount spent on groceries is 4641. Lot of difficulties simplify, get x is equal to 221. What is our savings? What are our savings? Savings is 16%. 16% is 16x. So it should be 16 into 221. 16 into 221 is 3536. 3536, first option. This is a regular approach. How you solve these questions, students? Now, same thing. See, I'm saying that you should look at smarter way of solving these questions. All these things you will come across only if you practice. If you don't practice, I'm saying it will be difficult. No, see, I'll try to solve this. What I do is just here. Let's say I'll solve like this. Grocery is 3 parts out of 12 parts into expenditure is 84%. 12 goes 7 times. So 21% is my grocery, right? 3 7s are 21. 21% is 4641. Savings I told you 16%. 84 she is spending, savings is 16%. One step answer means 16% how much? If you take x and solve, then find x value, then find savings value. I'm saying grocery is 3 out of 12 into out of this complete is equal to 84% into 84%. So it is 21%. So 16 into 4641 by 21. Right? So 7 6 are 42, 44, 7 6 are 42, 21, 7 3s, 7 3s, again 3 goes 221. 16 into 221, 3536. Instead of taking 100 and solving, I can do like this, right? This will be easy to solve. So grocery is what percentage? 3 by 12 into 84, 21. If 21% is this much, 16%. Right, students? Okay. Data sufficiency and data comparison. You can come across data sufficiency 2 statement questions and 3 statement questions. Most of the times you will get 2 statements. Once in a while you come across 3 statement questions also. Data comparison generally 2 quantity. 3 quantity also asked, but it was present in your IBPS and SBI main examination. SBI PO, the 2 PO main exam. So 3 quantity, what happens is quantity 1, quantity 2, quantity 3. You have to establish a relation between Q1 and Q2, and you have to establish a relation between Q2 and Q2. So generally, 3 statement questions are lengthy, time consuming. But as far as your Grameena Banks, RRB exams are considered, you will come across only 2 statement questions and 2 quantity questions. RRB, you can find 3 statements once in a while also. But data comparison, you will get only 2 quantity comparison. Basic concepts, whatever we have discussed, those will be helpful in solving your data sufficiency and data comparison questions. Right. Data interpretation. Now look at your prelim exam model students. Very fast, I'll not discuss anything. We'll wind up in another 5 minutes. You have tables, pie chart, bar graph, line graph, case sheet. Generally, if you observe the papers last 3 years, you're getting one out of this, line graph or case sheet, but most of the times you're getting case sheet. Main exam, in addition to this, you need to focus on this RRB exams, missing DI, double pie chart, double bar graphs, and case sheets. Caselets may be table based, and you can also expect Venn diagram based caselets. Maybe expected question this time, you can come across quant based DI. We have discussed this, right? These are a part of your regular IBPS and SBI. In 2016 RRB exam, you have come across this, right? Time and work based DI, time and distance, probability based DI. You have what you call profit loss based DI, partnership based DI, simple interest, compound interest based DI, mensuration based DI. These are quant based DI. These quant concepts are helpful in solving DI. Also, your DS based DI. DI set, but questions are based on data sufficiency. Not asked till date in your RRB exams. You can expect. I'm not saying don't neglect this. Prepare these also, right? Quant based, yes. In 2016, there was one set asked. After that, in last 3 years, there was no quant based DI, but you can expect questions, right? So table, pie chart, bar graph, line graph, case set for filling. In addition to that, missing DI, double pie chart, double bar graph, and case set. Venn diagram based case set, you have to prepare more for your data interpretation. So DI, these are some of the important points you should keep in mind. You have to spend some time in reading the data and the question. This is the order. Just keep these points in mind. You have to read the title. You have to look at the data, and you have to read the questions. You have to spend some time. You should understand what is this set talking about. Then most important thing is units. Whatever units given in the data and the questions, you just make a note on your rough sheet. Units are very, very important. It may be given in lakhs, question may be in crores, given in millions, question may be in crores. You should focus on what you call units. Additional information given in the form of a note or in a question should not be ignored. So generally what happens is, apart from the data given in the table, outside a note will be given or a footnote, star mark will be given. Additional information based on this, there might be 1 or 2 questions. Sometimes what happens is, if I miss this information, all 5 questions we may go wrong. So additional information not compulsory. For some questions, some data will give you additional data. You must and should read that data. And this is important. All questions in a set are not of same difficulty level. Easy, moderate, difficult question definitely should not solve. Try to identify easy questions and solve. If time permits, then do a moderate. I told you, right? Out of 5 questions, 2 is a good score, right? Out of 5 questions, 3 is an excellent score. Don't try to solve 5 out of 5 in your examination, right? Not possible, right? So identify 2 easy questions, 3 easy questions, solve it. If time permits, maybe moderate level of questions you can see. Difficult, lengthy calculation based questions you can ignore. Now, these are some of the models you come across. Tables, these are out of all charts given, tables are easy to understand. Now, while adding row wise or column wise, don't write down the numbers in the rough sheet and add. It is like time waste, and you also make a mistake while copying from screen to your paper. And no need to find out all the sum of all the rows and columns given here. Depending on the question, you can do that, right? Easiest would be table out of all the DI sets, right? Then bar graphs, you have generally normal bar graph, stacked bar graph, histogram. What is normal bar graph? This is a normal bar graph. Stacked bar graph means it will be given like this. One above the other. This is A, this is B, this is A, B, C, D. Let's say this is A, let's say this is B, let's say this is C. Right, so this is 0, let's say this is 100, let's say this is 250, let's say this is 325, let's say this is 400. Total sales means 400. If I want to find sales of D, upper boundary minus lower boundary, 400 minus 325, 70. 325 minus 250, 125. This is your stacked bar graph. Histogram is again simple. Histogram is one after the other, right? Without any gap between. So there will be observation based questions in bar graph and line graph. Certain questions can be answered by looking at the difference in the bar graph or slope of the line graph. The more the steepness of the line, the less the steepness of the line. Depending on that, we can predict certain answers. Those are called observation based questions. So identify those questions, solve them first. Pie charts. So pie chart can be given in percentage. Add all the values, it must be 100%. Pie chart can be given in degrees. Add all the degrees, it must be equal to 360 degrees, right? So data can be represented in percentage or angle, sometimes combination of both. So when I'm saying 2 pie charts, one will be in percentage, other can be in degrees also. So comparison of bases will help. So when 2 pie charts are given, sometimes what happens is if you compare those bases, you will get some ratio. Or sometimes what happens is if you compare those bases, you will know this is 2 times of that, total value is 3 times of that, or it can establish some relationship between those 2 pie charts. Once you get that relationship, it will help you to solve questions very easily. So particularly pie charts, right? Caselets data it will be given in verbal form. You have to capture this data in tabular form or Venn diagram. This should be attempted towards the end students, right? So types of questions. Most of your questions will be based on percentage concepts, ratio concepts, and your average sum of all quantities by total number. Most of your DI questions are based on these 3 concepts, right? So data may be in the form of table, pie chart, line graph, bar graph, but question types, if you can see, it will be most of the times one of these questions, right? Question types include addition based questions, maybe sum, average, difference, or percentage based questions. Again, percentage based have 2 types, right? One this type. What is the percentage increase? Or I'm not going to discuss the concepts. What's the year to year? What's the percentage increase? Year to year, what's the percentage? Right? You know how to find percentage increase or decrease. Difference by initial value. Initial value means starting value. So one, percentage based questions. Second type is you have to be thorough with percentage increase or decrease, and you should be thorough with these 4 basic percentage questions. A value 40, B value 50. B is what percentage of A? B by A into 100. B is compared with A. Or after off we have A, so A in the denominator. A is what percentage of B? A is how much percentage less than B? B is how much percentage more than B? So most of my questions is based on what is the percentage increase or percentage decrease. This is what percentage less than this. This is what percentage more than this. Or A is what percentage of B? Or B is what percentage of B? Most of my percentage questions are based on these concepts. So because we are running short of time, I am not discussing this. You have to be thorough with this percentage increase, percentage decrease, percentage more, percentage less concepts. So these are 3 formulas: percentage increase or decrease, percentage less, percentage more. You just remember this. Less means opposite of less. What is common here? Difference into 100 in all the 3 formulas. Increase or decrease we'll find out with respect to initial value. Percentage less is nothing but difference by opposite of less, larger value. Percentage more means difference by smaller value. That is what I have written just here. Difference by, instead of compared with B, compared with C, what I am saying is A is what percent less than B? Percentage less. Difference 10. Opposite of less is larger value. 50 is larger. Forget A, forget B. So generally you have confusion, sir. B से compare किया, A से compare किया. Don't need to worry. Less means opposite of less, large value. Now percentage more. Percentage more is difference 10. Opposite of more is lesser value. That is 40 into 100. So 1 by 25%. That is what I am telling, right? Then we can also expect overall growth, let us say between 2016 to 2017, what is the growth percentage? Or 2016 to 2020, what is the growth percentage? Or overall growth, 16 to 20, what is the overall growth percentage? Or average growth question? These kind of questions can be asked, right? So we are at the fag end. If you have any questions, we'll take up. So online classes, whatever we are providing here, so these are actually helpful. Audio and video both are passed. Just check out Anika, the audio video passed. Hari Prasad, I am winding up. Hari Prasad, last 1 minute. This webinar is helpful. Conduct more webinars like this. Yes, we do this. We do this. Double pie chart. You are left, so I can't explain. Okay. Online classes, we are giving you what you call bank exams, right? We will cover you both prelim as well as main. Right. So online classes later on, you can pay the difference. You can online. You can convert into classroom. I'll answer your questions, Vinay and Danyata. 1 minute, just give me some time. Maybe once we are back to this particular what you called once we are out of these testing times, we will have classroom classes starting. We don't know when, but once classroom starts, you can always, who are online students, you can convert your enrollment into classroom. You can always attend, because having teacher virtually and having teacher in front, it will make definitely a difference. So definitely you can convert your enrollment. Also, now we are giving you a regular bank program, right? So which will cover your prelim as well as main. You will get 130 mock tests. Then you will get current affair cracker magazines. Then you'll get about 190 sectional tests, topic wise tests, apart from classes, right? So for prelim and main, you'll get somewhere around, all put together, you'll get somewhere around close to about 240 to 250 hours. So about you'll get close to about 110 to 120 classes. So I'm saying that all these for your regular course. Once you can always upgrade to 1 year program. The difference in 1 year program is number of mock tests will get doubled, 200 plus. Sectional tests will be 300 plus, and current affair cracker magazine also will get. You can also upgrade to bank plus SSC combo. If you take this, this is very, very helpful. Bank and SSC, the differentiation factor is GK, right? Additional physics, chemistry, botany, zoology. So we are anyways giving you those classes also. So if you can prepare GK additionally, you are ready for bank, SSC, you are ready for railways, you are ready for insurance, all these. You can upgrade to bank plus SSC combo. Here what happens is, you will get about 300 mock tests, you will get 500 plus extra tests. There is a difference in number, but you can always upgrade. So from your regular program to 1 year program, regular program to combo program, regular program to classroom program, right? So we'll stop here, students. So let us see what there are a few more questions. Let me take up. Helpful webinar. Geeta saying thank you. Can I get all missed classes in time up? Yes, you will get. You will get. Danyata is asking this question. Yes, you will get this. Before this, one more question. What is that? Helpful webinar. Deepak, thank you. Let me. I love the way you express the percentage, etc. classes. I would like to 5-star for your teaching seats. Thank you, Parimala. Thank you so much. If it's helpful for you, I'll be the most happiest person. Helpful, we'll need more webinars like this. Yes, Geeta, definitely we'll do that. Really a wonderful session we had, sir. Kindly mail me the PPT to mail, sir. We'll upload this on YouTube channel, timeforeducation.com. You can see there. My sister could not attend this webinar. I can forward her so that. Arun, we are uploading this on YouTube channel. You go to youtube.com, you go to Time for Education channel. There we will take up this question. With explain. Danyata, with solutions also explain. What solutions, Danyata? It's not clear. Thank you. People are saying thank you. So it's time to wind up now. So we'll upload this. If you have any more questions, you can ask me. What is YouTube channel? YouTube channel is youtube.com. We have Time for Education channel. You go to YouTube, you just type Time for Education. You'll get a channel. You have to subscribe to that. You can watch all these videos. We'll upload in there, right? Useful webinar, Hari Prasad. Harshita is asking my name. Hidayatullah. I'll write here. Hidaya. Little complicated, but that's my name, right? Hidayatullah. This is my email ID. You can send to info, or if you have anything, you can also share with me. Hidayatullah@timeforeducation.com. Hidaya. Be careful. One letter here, there, you'll not get the answer, right? I'll not get the mail. HIDAYATHULLAH. Chandra, I need webinar in maths class. We'll do that. It's really helpful. Chitra, thank you. Helpful. Uma, thank you. What is YouTube channel? I explained what is YouTube channel, right? Okay. Access to all the classes from beginning till now from time. Yes, you'll get, Rachna. You'll get. Can we access online classes after 1 week of their upload? Ha, Snehita, yes, we are doing this. Maybe what we are doing is maybe sometime down the line, maybe 10 days, 15 days, we'll give you all the videos will be uploaded, and instead of giving 8 days time, we are saying each video you can watch 3 times. Each video you can watch 3 times. But you have to be careful, net connection, all those. Once you open it, it will be counting, counter will be upgraded to be counted as 1 time. So from now, you watch your regular live class. After that, we will upload that video on your app. Or what you can do is in your app, you can watch the 3 times. So no deadline, not up to 8 days. Till your completion of your course, you can watch 3 times. Anytime. Now, maybe after 2 months, maybe after 1 month, till your validated homepage is there, you can watch 3 times. But once you start, if you stop, will be counted as 1 time. That you have to take care. That you should be careful. Snehita, I answered your question. Thank you so much, Prativani. Thank you, Ashita. Thank you. YouTube channel, timeforeducation.com. I missed the class. Where can I get? You can, Viola is saying useful. You can get on YouTube, Time for Education channel. I have written here, Time for Education channel. YouTube, Time for Education channel. Had a good class, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, Danyata. Thank you so much. Right. I think, thank you, Sahil. Thank you. Sir, your good name, please. I have written here, right? 1 second. Hidayatullah formula. HIDAYATHULLAH. HIDAYATHULLAH at timeforeducation.com. That is my email. Hidayatullah@timeforeducation.com. Right, Parimala. Thank you so much, students, taking out time and attending this. So hope all of you enjoyed the session. So I'm going to wind up now. It's thank you for your patience for attending these sessions. So if you have any more queries, you can always send us a mail, right? Thank you, students. Thank you so much.